Hey, it's Chloe. Last week I posted a video on the crazy crimes that have been happening in the Asian American community. And I honestly thought things would get better, but they haven't. And so seeing the horrific crimes happen day after day without it stopping has been heartbreaking. On the other hand, I've also been very blessed to be involved in a ton of the conversations that are happening in the API community. I've been in a couple of Clubhouse conversations or ERG meetings or just group chats talking about what can we do. I've also seen a lot of people reach out to me on LinkedIn. About 2 weeks ago, I posted an Asian American resource guide on LinkedIn and it kind of blew up, and that's great because people have been sharing this guide with their employee resource groups at work or their support groups. I've actually been getting a surprising amount of people messaging me about how they can help out, how they can make graphics, how they can be an editor, and I'm like, oh my god, that's great. And I also have a lot of allies from the Latinx community, from the Black community, from the non-Asian LGBTQ+ community, reaching out to reshare, to support, and to ask to collaborate in the capacities that they can. And that's been really cool. So in light of this movement to stop Asian hate, I wanted to take some time to share a spoken word poem about my trials and tribulations on my journey growing up Asian American. I actually wrote this poem in 2018, but I remastered it today because I still think that the narrative holds very true. I was going to wait until May for Asian American Heritage Month, but then I thought, why wait when the time is now? To speak up, to be brave, and to take action. So to honor and bring awareness to the people in our community, as well as their families, who have faced things no one should be facing, I wanted to share with you my journey, discovering my identity, and finding my place in all of this uncharted territory. And just a quick bio, I am a 1.5 Gen Taiwanese American, born and raised in LA County in the 626, what up? I moved to New York City for school and then moved to the Bay Area to work in tech. I grew up participating in dozens of API student organizations and community orgs. I really love talking about this topic, so I would love to hear your journey too. But for now, I hope that this story resonates with you or it brings you a new perspective on seeing the world through someone else's view. Hope you enjoy! I think it all began when I started watching the dramas. Oh yes, it was Smiling Pasta, Devil Beside You, It Started With a Kiss, and Meteor Garden. I watched them all in my pajamas. I kind of learned Chinese that way, using English subtitles. In middle school, I got fobby bangs because Rainy Yang was my ultimate idol. I joined Soompi forums and went through a K-pop phase. I fell in love with Mickey from DBSK, but abandoned him when I discovered J-pop out of the blue. I swore I'd move to Japan and marry Masuda Takahisa from the boy band News. One day, I met a ninja named Naruto from this place called Hidden Leaf. He was an outcast without parents but wanted to be the next village chief. He became my hero because he literally never gave up, no matter how unfair things were or how much life sucked. To this day, his resiliency is one that helped me stay grounded. It got me through the teenage adversity that I proudly surmounted. He's also the reason why I am so obsessed with ramen. I once ate 7 bowls in an all-you-can-eat competition. That was a fun time for me to reminisce. I didn't know how complicated life would be and lived in a state of bliss. I'm fortunate, though. I'm from the 626 area in LA, where we've got the largest Asian population in all of the states. On one boulevard alone, there's over 600 Asian restaurants filled with non-English menus, all printed in the same type fonts. Every week, I had my fill of beef noodle, ramen, and spicy seafood soup. Cash only, of course, if you wanted a discount to come through. I'd panic when my parents made me order takeout because I sucked at Chinese. I'd shamefully point to the menu and say, "This one, please. 谢谢." At 26, my parents moved across the world, not knowing a single English word, but they wanted that better and brighter future that they thought America offered. But they quickly learned that life is not all rainbows and butterflies. It's about working harder than anyone and living with sacrifice. My dad kind of failed his business and took community college classes, where he found his passion for the world of eyeglasses. He flew to New York City to pursue higher education, which left my mom all alone in my childhood gestation. She had to take care of 3 kids, work full-time at minimum wage, and send money to my dad. Yo, that's hard work. I'm just saying I could never do that. Mad respect, though, for the first-gen immigrants. They've got unparalleled work ethic and unlimited diligence. But it was hard. With a household income of $40,000, the pressure was real to becoming a medical scholar. I had a rough upbringing, and that's all I'm going to say publicly. But regardless of the dark times, I still view my family lovingly. All my life, they've worked 7 days a week, never took a vacation just so I can live debt-free. I see how much they've done for me, and I know I have to do all I can to succeed. And so, my journey began. I went to the Claremont colleges for a liberal arts degree. That was the first time I met rich people who didn't quite look like me. They spent their summers in Europe and came from expensive boarding schools. They smoked a ton of weed and they didn't really follow the dorm rules. One day, I looked around my class and realized, oh my god, I'm the minority. I'm literally the only full Taiwanese person as far as the eye could see. There were like 10 of us Asian kids in my entire graduating class. So we all joined the Asian American Club to see who else was on this path. I felt out of place at my school at Pitzer College. I couldn't bring my whole self. It was a mental blockage. But that's what being Asian American is all about. It's not fitting the check boxes, but having to figure it out. It's creating your own trajectory and being unafraid of the doubt. It's defining your identity when you thought you had worked it all out. After that, I went to Columbia to become an engineer, mostly to see how much of life I could actually persevere. The New York City winter was more brutal than ever. I knew my Californian soul could not live there forever. It was during these years I grew a chip on my shoulder, and that chip gave me the courage to be much, much bolder. I stood up against bullies who were entitled to their might. I got rejected from project teams by international students because I wasn't white. I applied for 150 internships before getting my first offer in the mail. I never took a break, never partied, so I could live today to tell this tale. I had a choice in this time where everything felt wrong, to let my situation crush me or to rise above and come out strong. And so I launched a new club, a new conference with a whole new vision. It was hard, but that hard work came to fruition. I graduated receiving 3 awards and the highest medal of honor for embodying the greatest level of service, character, and was an academic scholar. I have a scholarship in my name that awards leaders who give more, the ones who go above and beyond in the things they're fighting for. Just for the record, though, awards aren't everything. But it's these moments that can last forever, the moments where you failed and failed again, but you chose to pull it all together. I love who I am, where I'm from, and how it all began. But I want to share with the world the story that never goes according to plan. Being Asian American means that life is kind of hard. We've got a history that's permanently marked us with scars. Being Asian American means I'll have to try much harder in industry. It means I have the lowest odds of getting promoted statistically. It means I'll probably never be an executive realistically. It means I'll get microaggressed constantly and explicitly. Not only that, someone like me will probably never be on Wikipedia. Not only that, it means that I won't be represented in mass media. Although our people are known to save you from leukemia, I can't be a CEO since I don't fit the criteria. And that's okay. Because I had to try all my life. I had no backup plan when facing my strife. I had no safety net when walking the tightrope. I had no option but to charge forward and rely on hope. And when you've lived your life with all the odds stacked against you, you kind of become invincible and you start making your breakthroughs. Asian Americans, by history and not by choice, have had to live this way. We were meant to be trailblazers, innovators from the very first day, because courage is not the absence of fear, it's what you do in the face of it. Being Asian American takes the darkness and erases it. Our generation takes adversity and displaces it. It embraces it. So what else does being Asian American mean for me? It means I'll probably look like this until I'm 40. It means I have family I can visit here and across the sea. It means every success story I hear this month, I am proud to be Asian American, especially in 2018. Here's to the untold stories of future Asian Americans, to the leaders that we didn't know we could become in comparison, to the A100 honorees that have paved the path for people like me, to the Oscar nominees who did all the work behind the scenes. Being Asian American has never felt this much better. It's kind of cool to have a chip on your shoulder and be a go-getter. It's cool to have a story to share that can inspire others, and I hope you can celebrate with me too, no matter your color. Thank you.